Welcome to week 2. This week we begin in the course content area, and I'd like you to follow along with me by clicking on week 2. In this area you'll see that we have our lecture area and then several links. A link to the informal reading inventory is a PowerPoint that will guide you through the things that you need to know for the Flint Cooter. That doesn't substitute for reading through the material yourself. However, it's only meant to guide you. And then you have two links, whichever one opens more easily for you. They are both going to take you to the same area on understanding validity and reliability, which are the major topics for this week. So let's now click on the lecture area, and you'll see that we have quite a lot there. We have our overview, first of all, and the question is, again, what is fair and what is unfair when it comes to tracking and measuring student progress? But this week we want to pay special attention to the topic of validity and reliability, especially as it relates to reading assessment. You're going to be reading that in the chapters in your textbook, as well as watching a webcast this week that will give you additional information. We also want to begin thinking about the administering and scoring of the informal reading inventory. So you definitely need to have that book in hand at this point. So if you haven't yet located a child, use this week in order to do so. You need a student in the primary or elementary grades. Having that student ready will help this process go a bit more smoothly. And by the time you're reading or listening to this, you should have already submitted your online journal article. This week, your assignment is a position paper, which we will talk about a little later. So basically, we want to know our key terms: validity, reliability, consistency, in relation to both formal and informal assessments. So now let's take a look at the lecture area. And again, you will see there is a short discussion on validity and reliability. People hear these terms and get very nervous because it sounds like statistics, but you can see you don't have to do any math here. We just want you to understand the concepts. That validity, very simple, simply tells us whether we are testing what we intend to test. Are we testing what we taught? And reliability lets us know that we will get the same results consistently as we use this test over and over again. We also have, as I mentioned before, a short webcast. Well, it's not that short, it's an hour in length, but it's very well worth your time. And the webcast description, I taught them, but they didn't learn. How can teachers make sure that each student is not only being taught, but is actually learning? This is a very good discussion of how assessment is used to lead students to reading success. It touches also on the special population and non-English speaking youngsters, which some of you may encounter. So I want you to watch that, and I've added some discussion questions in the discussion area for you to consider after you have watched this assessment. Let's now take a look at our assignment for this week. We are now dealing with assignment 2, a position paper. So in this one, you must submit the IRF because this is going into your portfolio. So you need to look at the topics here and choose one. I don't have to read them to you, you can do that. You also need to follow all the directions, use another textbook outside of your Osterhoff book, and 2 professional journal articles in order to be able to complete this.